Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on boxing. We have a big weekend of boxing coming on, so I feel just like everyone else on YouTube, we got to get content out there. We got to big this fight up. We got to give it the attention it deserves because this is a historical matchup at light heavyweight. So we're going to be talking about that and much more. Stay tuned to then. Feel free to jump on and chop it up. Welcome back, boxing fans. So, this weekend, the long-awaited matchup between Beterbiev and Bivol is finally here. After some delays, after much anticipation, finally the big day is upon us. Tonight, they're going to be doing the big entrance. So, I'm sure lots of people are going to be all over that, watching both of these guys walk in and get their flowers and be interviewed. But for me, I'm not a guy who's all about that weigh-ins and entrances and interviews and press conferences. That shit I don't care about because it's ridiculous, redundant. It don't mean shit. What matters is what happens when these two guys get in the ring. Today, literally, I've sat down and watched 4 of Beterbiev's fights. Callum Smith, Joe Smith, Brown, and Anthony Yard, right? And tried to use that as a reference to think about how he was going to perform this weekend against who arguably could be the best opponent on his resume. Let's chop that up and figure out what everybody else is thinking regarding this fight. Also amazing in the house, smash the like button. With the back-to-back live, Sean, nice fire. Sean, have you seen the new movie Long Legs? I haven't. Bivol gets the win. That's crazy, Alonso. I literally just got done watching it 30 minutes ago. Watching the movie Long Legs? What's it about? I haven't watched it, but I am anticipating the John Wick spin-off movie Ballerina with the sexy Cuban girl. Can't wait till that comes out. But obviously this weekend we have great fights. As I said, I've been watching Beterbiev's matchups today. I would have went back and watched Bivol's fights, but stylistically, Bivol is not the kind of fighter I really enjoy watching. He's a more boring, technical, defense-first type of fighter. So there wasn't that many fights that I was really interested in watching with him today because pretty much I know what he's going to do. He's going to fight behind a jab, use his feet, try to control the distance with his jab and feet, throw short, straight combination punching, and get out of there and try to be very defensively responsible, right? And try to, fight at his pace and at his distance. The question is Beterbiev going to be able to get in there and do what he needs to do? And that's what we're going to find out. It's a great movie, Sean. It has holes in it, but good. Nick Cage did a good job. Oh, fuck. Nick Cage. Man, if Nick Cage is in it, it makes me disinterested. Long Legs looks amazing. I need to watch it. Long Legs. All I know is I'm not a big Nick Cage fan. He lost me years ago. This movie, I'm not much of a horror genre person either. So if it's a horror movie, I'm probably not that interested in watching it. That's the thing. Nick was expected to do bad, but this is not a typical much Cage performance. He rarely does any talking. Boxer Sean, I agree with you. That Beterbiev will beat Bivol. That's what I'm pushing for. But, we can talk more about it as we move forward. And when he does it, it's creepy. I thought Cage washed up, but this was a legit performance. So DraftKings boxing odds. Sorry, unfathomable odds shift. Turkey placing bets. Tavern, Newton. Who has more to gain from this win? Beterbiev or Bivol? Carlos. Well, considering that Bivol is younger and obviously can go on to really control the light heavyweight division for much longer, potentially get a Canelo Alvarez fight, potentially fight the winner of Benavidez and Morrell, right? He could really go on to really become a pound for pound star in the sport of boxing, right up there with Bud Crawford, Usyk, and Inouye. You slap Bivol right in there, and you have the four horsemen, right? And if you do get the Canelo Alvarez fight and he beats Canelo more convincingly after a Beterbiev win, his legacy is pretty much solidified, right? For Beterbiev, him beating a guy like Bivol, stylistically difficult, defense first type of guy, a guy who's going to not make you look good. At least that's what he's going to attempt to do. If you're able to beat him, specifically if you're able to do what you did against every other fighter you faced, stop him in the fight to continue your 100% KO ratio, you're going to be seen as a behemoth, right? But then he's going to be moving to cruiserweight. That's what we're hearing right now. If he beats Bivol, chances are Beterbiev is going to drop his 4 titles, which is probably why David Benavidez and Morrell moved up to that weight division, because they do know there's going to be vacant titles, right? You know, they're not interested in actually taking on the winner. But him moving into cruiserweight to take on Jay Opataya, Zerto, and whoever else, you know, that's legacy as well, and definitely intriguing to see how he would do moving up to that division. And it'd bring a lot more positive attention to the cruiserweight division. Luckily, the cruiserweight division now has something that it hasn't had in a while. Big money from Saudi Arabia. Prior, it's been kind of that ignored division, right? That Americans didn't really pay attention to because there was no American boxers in the division. I don't know why. 190, 200 pounds, you figured there'd be a bunch of fucking NFL linebackers in that division, but unfortunately, it never really had that much attraction to American audiences. So Beterbiev could definitely grab that division by the throat and bring a lot of attention to it. And imagine a Jay Opataya, Arthur Beterbiev fight at 100 or 200 pounds for the cruiserweight title. That shit would be dynamite. And then there's also rumors from Usyk that if he beats Fury in a rematch, he will come back down to cruiserweight. So we potentially could get the rematch between Usyk and Beterbiev at cruiserweight. That, my friends, is legendary. Obviously, there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts for that to happen, but fucking Christ, man. Oh, I don't think Usyk is trolling, because he knows his body and he knows he's not really at his comfortable weight fighting at heavyweight, right? But you know, if he is, he is. If he isn't, he isn't. It still brings some interesting potential matchups for the future. What did I miss? Iceman says Bivol by decision. Where do you place the winner? We talked about that. Only on the basis of someone doing crimes without doing them. That's about it. Hope you're well, Iceman. One to move. Sub Mad Chad. So you won't thank me for spreading the live on the Phantom Zone like you did at Frank Bay's, but did it in a disrespectful way. Matt Chad. Madrimov on the undercard. Madrimov on the undercard for Usyk Fury, right, against Bohochuk. We talked about that in my live earlier today. If you didn't check it out, go watch. Share and spread the wealth. Create angles for Beterbiev. You know, the one thing I'm impressed by Beterbiev, he definitely picks his spots to attack. He will pull out. He will use lateral movement to change the angle, change his positioning in the ring, right? And he will definitely put himself in a position where he feels comfortable offensively. And you know, in his last fight against Callum Smith, his jab was dynamite. If he can use that up jab, kind of like Cotto was able to use with Mayweather, if he's able to use that significantly against Bivol, that's a game changer. Bivol's going to fucking get knocked out if that up jab is effective. With Spence and Funduro being made, is Canelo Bud most likely on the horizon next? Well, apparently, the agreement between Funduro and Bud Crawford is that the winner of Spence Funduro will unify against Bud Crawford. But that's fucking months and months and months and months away. So I don't know what Crawford's going to do in the meantime, right? Hopefully he could get maybe a Tim Tszyu fight, and then that would be okay. But if he doesn't, then what the fuck happens? He's just going to sit around and get older? That's not really the way things should work out. Seeing Beterbiev at cruiserweight would be nice. I'd rather see him defend his undisputed for as long as he wants to cement his legacy, arguably the greatest 175-pounder of all time. I agree with you, but I always kind of figure the light heavyweight division is kind of overrated as far as the top guys. You got like 5 elite fighters on top, and then after that, I'm not so keen about it. He definitely could potentially put himself in that top 5. That would be legendary. But he's older, right? If he could get big money fights going to Saudi Arabia, fighting Jay Opataya, he might as well do that, right? Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see him beat the shit out of David Benavidez, right? But, we will see how that unfolds. Sean, if Beterbiev wins, does he have a better resume at 175 than Roy Jones Jr.? His resume at 175. Bostic, undefeated lineal WBC champ. Bivol, undefeated pound for pound WBA champ. Joe Smith, WBO champ. Anthony Yard, Callum Smith, Campillo, who's the other champion, ex-champion that he beat early on in his career. His resume is dynamite, right? If he beats Bivol, dynamite. And then if he was good to go on and beat like David Benavidez, that would just be the solidifying cherry on top, so to speak. Off the top of my head, I can't remember everybody that Roy Jones fought, but I know Roy Jones made a shitload of title defenses. I think it was 14 title defenses at light heavyweight. And he beat Virgil Hill, who was a long reigning light heavyweight champion, 1984 Olympian, I think a silver medalist, very good fighter. And obviously others as well. Not that I can remember them off the top of my head, but I always remember that fight because I always was a Virgil Hill fan. And I thought, he's gonna give Roy some problems. He's a naturally bigger fighter, great jab, really good footwork, and no. That was one of the most impressive wins I felt Roy Jones had in his career, as well as obviously B-Hop and my other, what's his face? Usyk can't get back down. Sean Newton and chat salute. What's up, Paco? Roy Jones was best at super middleweight and super middleweight. I think so. Mad Bohal, kind of like Beterbiev and Bivol. Well, I wouldn't say it's quite the same, but I get what you're trying to say. I don't know if Madrimov is really a Bivol, but who the hell is Frank Bay? Sean Newton, what I usually do, I spread your live on other channels and are live when the other channels have low traffic and key holders aren't letting people on the StreamYard panel. Cheers. Bivol is my second favorite fighter. I'm scared for my boy. Who's your first favorite fighter, Stringer? Bud versus Tio, maybe. Well, at this point, with all the mad shit that Tio is pushing, I'd be fucking super excited to watch Bud Crawford beat the fuck out of that kid and send him into fucking retirement, because that kid is mental and fragile. And if Bud Crawford beats the shit out of him, I would not be surprised if he retired, because that kid, his life is fucking hanging on a string. But, I would love nothing more than to see Tio get his ass beat and see Ryan Garcia get his ass beat. But, I mean, if Ryan fights Haney, I don't know if that's going to happen. Smash the likes for unbiased boxing and debunking narratives. Yes, all day, every day. Virgil Hill was coming off a defeat against Darius Michalczewski when Roy beat him. Okay. As I said, I don't remember all the specifics. How did Darius beat him? He was competitive. Did he stop him? Did he do what Roy Jones did to him? Bud wants to fight Tio in the streets. J. Will Bud versus Tio would be great. Paco Bud is just chilling. Anyway, why not? Anui. Anui and Bivol. Have a great day, all. Tavern, you leaving already? Cheers, buddy. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it. Let's check out this shit here. I'm just curious about Roy Jones and who the fuck this motherfucker fought as a light heavyweight. Where am I going? Dun, 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 dun. I don't even think they list Roy Jones at light heavyweight. I thought last time I looked, I didn't even notice him in the list. So I kind of forgot that. Oh, no. So he's there. Number 6. Moore, Laughlin, Bivens, Maxim, Johnson, Roy Jones, Billy Conn. John must be upset because, John, he thinks the only fighters that are legends are black American fighters. Yet when I look here, you got Joey Maxim, a white guy, Billy Conn, a white guy, Tommy Laughlin, a white guy, right? Jimmy Bivens, was he white? I'm not sure. But that's like 50% of the top 6 guys listed right there that are white guys. And then you go down, you got, Jack Delaney, Maxie Rosenblum. I mean, all that talk about black dominance and the fact that every great fighter in the past was a black American. I think people with no knowledge of the history of boxing kind of forget all the great fighters that were around during that era. All the Italians, the Irish, the Jews, right? A lot of these immigrants that immigrated to the States as poor, impoverished people running away from their countries came to the States, became boxers, and thrived in America. But, okay, let's check out Roy Jones, my man. Roy Jones, who historically I rate higher than Floyd Mayweather. It's unfortunate that he couldn't walk away when he should have walked away. But we look at 175. Got to go back quite a bit. It's a long run, baby. Holy shit. Okay, so he started his run beating Mike McCullum. Right there, that's a legendary win, right? Mike McCullum, light heavyweight win. Fucking legendary. The body snatcher. Then he was robbed and cheated of his undefeated record, potentially in position to beat Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 record. He would have blew that because he wouldn't have walked away, but nonetheless, got robbed and fucked over in the Montel Griffin fight, only to come back and destroy Montel Griffin in one fucking round. So that's obviously a very good win. Virgil Hill destroyed him in 4 rounds. Look at that. When you came and you beat undefeated Montel Griffin, long reigning light heavyweight champion Virgil Hill, and one of the best fighters in boxing, Mike McCullum, even though obviously light heavyweight wasn't his primary weight class. There's my man. That's an old picture of him. So when did he fight? Okay, so yeah, he beat, and look at who he beat, right? Frank Tate. I love Frank Tate too. Frank Tate, also one of the guys from that 1984 Olympic team. He beat him. I was really pushing for Frank Tate. Fabrizio Tiozzo, fucking Adolph Washington. Frank Tate a first time. Guy Walters, Australian. Beat Lou DeVille, who I never thought was that good. Henry Mask, very good German fighter, had a great career, and then lost to Darius Michaelcheski, right? Lost by unanimous decision. So that puts some things in context because he was fucking flatlined and destroyed by fucking Roy Jones. 4 rounds. That's a super impressive performance from Roy Jones. Then went on to beat DeVille. Otis Grant, my Canadian brethren. Fucking Otis Grant. Great Olympian, great Canadian fighter. Then he fought Frazier, Johnson, Telesco, Hall, Harding, Harmon, Gonzalez, Kelly, Woods, right? All these guys, mediocre. Not great fighters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, even Grant, 10, 11. So 11 of the guys he faced at light heavyweight were good, solid contenders, but not high-level elite fighters. Obviously, the first 3 guys he faced were the best. Then he went up to heavyweight, fought John Ruiz, legendary fight, came back down, beat Antonio Tarver, and should have retired right there. If he would have retired in 2003, he would be in the conversation for the best fighter of this era, above fucking Floyd Mayweather. But he went on to get knocked out by Tarver, knocked out by Johnson, lost to Tarver, fought a bunch of bums, beat a small fighter in Trinidad, got beat by fucking Calzaghe, fucking beat nobodies, ended up getting destroyed by Danny Green, B-Hop, Dennis Lebedev fighting a cruiserweight. These fights never should have happened. And then a bunch of bum-ass nobodies losing to fucking Enzo Macrinelli. Oh, my God. You know. It's unfortunate that he just kept going way too fucking long. Way too long. But I would say, truthfully, Beterbiev's resume is better. Obviously, it's not as long, and he doesn't have as many title defenses. But when you look at the quality of opposition he beat, as you say, Michael Zesky had just beaten Virgil Hill. So that takes away some of the shine from that fight. So yeah, let's chalk that up. I mean, the haters will hate that. JB won't like it because he'll think I'm hating on a black American fighter. But if that's what you got out of it, I'm sorry. You're a fucking moron. Where are we? Nobody stopped Virgil. That I remember. Roy, that's why the win was so great. Virgil fought Hearns. Yup, fought Hearns. That was a big fight too. Matt Shad, no speeding. 78 hates that the media isn't talking about Leonard DiCaprio being the Diddy parties, that the media only talks about black attending the parties. Yeah, okay. I mean, I didn't know Justin Bieber was black, but okay, fine. Right? You know. Fucking the narratives, right? McCollum, Virgil, Griffin, Tarver. Drive safe. Bob Foster was another great 175er. He was. Unfortunately, no chin. Montel Griffin beat James Toney, beat him twice. If Bud would be close to 50 fight, Mayweather would see to it that he gets beat, probably. Montel Griffin was a coward for faking like he was knocked out and got that sorry disqualification victory. It was shit. Sean Newton, do you know who Mirage is? He says Roy Jones' super middleweight run is better than Canelo's super middleweight run. Well, we can easily look at that. I mean, it won't take us long. We could check that out in 1 second. Roy Jones, Bolchuk beats Madrimov. Are you tearing down Bud's win over him? Why would I tear down his win? Bolchuk is a career 154-pound fighter. Bud Crawford came up from 135 pounds. Moved to his fourth weight division and beat an undefeated champion. Are you going to say that it's the best win on Bud's record if Madrimov knocks out Bolchuk? Canelo's run is better at 168, in my opinion, but Roy's win over Tony smokes anybody Canelo beat at 168. Well, to be fair, Tony was not Tony at that time. So is he really better than the champions that Canelo beat at that division, right? He was a guy that, was kind of a sideshow because he had a female manager and she got more attention than he did. He went on to become great, but at that time, I don't know if you could say he was great. He had one big win against Michael Nunn in a fight where he was the fucking underdog by 1.5 miles, and everybody figured Michael Nunn was going to destroy him. What does that tell you? Tune in to Drunk Irishman's channel, 17th October. My movie comes out. Sean, can we block this troll above me? Who is it? DiCaprio is a national treasure. The Diddler is not. That's true. But people, what 78 fails to discuss is the fact that DiCaprio always comes under fire. Literally always. Because he dates girls that are young. So he's constantly being ridiculed and attacked for always dating girls under 25. Even though, why wouldn't he? If I was him, I'd do the same fucking thing. Why wouldn't I continue to get a new girl once she turned 25? I don't need to stick with any of these girls. There's a long line of them that fucking would love to be with DiCaprio. So I don't see what he's doing as being wrong. But he comes under huge scrutiny under that consistently. James Toney was way better than anybody Canelo beat at 168. Name somebody that even comes close to Toney's level that Canelo beat at 168. Well, J.A., what did James Toney do at 168? Before you start hyping up how great he was, what did he do at 168? He beat Michael Nunn at 160. What did he do at 168? Toney was pound for pound number 3 at 168 when he fought Roy. he beat none at 160. Mike McCollum at 168. And at 168, Barkley, come on. You're not going to fucking convince me that you're fucking great because you beat Iran Barkley. Tony was undefeated. He was a beast. That cucking attorney account is a troll account of me. Remember, Rashawn, a while back, I told you that some troll accounts impersonating me can possibly come here? Yes. Also amazing. What's your safe word? They usually copy name exactly. Whitaker, Chavez, Tony by ring in 1984. Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. If Beterbiev beats Bivol in a unification run better than Usyk's cruiserweight run, I would say it's pretty close. We'd have to put some more effort into it. Obviously, what Usyk did was pretty impressive because every single fight was on the road. But to be fair, the majority of fights for Beterbiev have also been on the road, not necessarily in hostile territory, but also on the road. Tony was already a great fighter by the time Roy fought him. I agree that Canelo never beat someone that good as 168. By the time Tony fought Roy, he had already beat Mike McCollum and Michael Nunn. Yeah, those are two great wins. Michael Nunn, I still think Michael Nunn's a better fighter. Iran Barkley beat Hearns whenever they fought. Yeah, that's the one guy he could beat. An old shot fighter with no legs and fucking Tommy Hearns. It doesn't mean anything, huh? Why would pound for pound rankings mean something when people consistently criticize and hate on pound for pound rankings as being subjective? 78 is just jealous DiCaprio is more cute to him and is white at the same time. Well, anybody's more fucking cute than 78, but that's nothing to worry about. But let's check out this. So what we were saying, Roy's run at 168. Roy's run at 168. So 168, he faced James Toney in his first fight at 168. That's pretty impressive. Beating Toney in his first fight at 168. And I know Tony said he was struggling to make weight, but this was a guy who already fought at 160. If he couldn't make 168, it's because the same problems he had his whole life were his problem. Fucking being undisciplined. Antonio Bird, nothing great. Vinny Pazienza was never a 168-pound fighter. Tony Thornton, a Friday Night Fights fighter. Murky Sosa, a Friday Night's fight. Eric Lucas, a Canadian guy. Brian Brannon, mediocre. And then Mike McCollum at 175. Oh, no. Roy Jones' fucking resume at 168 is nowhere as good as fucking Canelo Alvarez. Let's be fair. The only big win he has, the only good win he has is James Toney, which obviously is a legendary win for him. But the rest of them, it's like, come on. Are these guys even better than fucking Jaime Munguia? Let's be fair. Come on. They're nothing special. And as far as James Toney, let's check out him. There he is, James. I love James Toney. I fucking was critical that Andre Ward got into the Hall of Fame before James Toney. Yet there's no comparison. James Toney's resume is way better than fucking Andre Ward. But let's look at what this guy did. What was our argument? James Toney at 168. This is a guy who, beat Mike McCollum, drew Mike McCollum at 160, brought him up to 168 to beat him, where you could use weight advantages to get the advantage out of them. 168. So 168, what did he do? He fought Mike McCollum, beat Mike McCollum at 160, fought Doug DeWitt, nothing special, beat Iran Barkley, who was literally 30-7, right? Beat some dude that was 9-3-1, beat a guy that was 11-9-1. Can you imagine a fighter today fighting two guys with those records, 9-3-1 and 11-9-1? Could you imagine the criticism and hate, especially if it was a non-black fighter, on YouTube? Glenn Thomas, a good fighter, beat him. Danny Garcia, 25-10. Larry Prather, 10-10. Like already we got 4 fights in his run at 168. Sorry, Prather's 175. Come on. Come on. The only good win that Tony has at 168 is Iran Barkley. Literally, that's the only fucking really good win he has. Come on, people. Let's be fucking honest. And what did Roy Barkley do before that? He beat fucking, ooh, yeah, there he goes. The great Darren Van Horn, remember him? Tommy Hearns, who was shot and got a split decision to a shot fighter. Lost to Nigel Benn, but those were at 160. Michael Nunn beat him. Roberto Duran beat him, all at 160. Beat Tommy Hearns. Michael Elijah Day, Canada's best, right, at 160. So he had 1 good win, 2 good wins at 160. At 168, what did he do? Come on, people. Let's be fucking fair. You guys talk a lot of load of shit, but it's mostly just anti-Canelo stuff. I would say the safe word, Sean, but I don't want the trolls here to know it. When memorize it, I'm sure they are still lurking. LeBron said, ain't no party like a Diddy party. Right, Devin Haney? He didn't say that. He didn't say Devin Haney. All someone has to do is get JA to start complaining to mention Canelo's name. That's fucking all it takes, right? It's quick. Like that. What had planned Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Johnson done before fighting Canelo? Callum Johnson, you mean Callum Smith, that stacks up to Tony's win over Mike McCollum and Nunn. Mike McCollum and Nunn were not 168-pound wins. Like, I know this is complicated for you to do the math, but literally he beat Nunn and McCollum at 160. I just told you what he did at 168. Sweet fuck all. Iran Barkley. That's it. So many excuses. Callum Smith. How is this complaining? It's called boxing talk, dummy. Keeps crying like the 304. Roy's win over Tony and Hopkins aged like fine wine. Yes, they did. Smash the likes, people. We talking Roy Jones? Tony also beat McCollum at cruiserweight. Fucking, first of all, fighting McCollum at cruiserweight, what does that fucking tell you? McCollum was never a cruiserweight. If that's how you're going to beat him, that's a money grab. That's all that is. It's crazy that the LDBC rejected JA. He acts just like them. Sean, how you rate the winner of Beterbiev versus Bivol all time as a light heavyweight? I would say it's probably top 5. James was pound for pound number 3 when he matched up. That's all I know in 1994. Tony was a slob after Roy's loss. He never got that high on the pound for pound ever again. Okay. And the point is, that's the best win that Roy has at 168. Most of his other stuff we just looked at, it was at 175, right? Beg for attention. Look at you trying to sound like Drew Titan. Like, we just looked. It's not me making up lies. You know, James Toney. At 168. What are we looking at now? Now I'm confused. Iran Barkley. James Toney, Roy Jones. So at 168, he faced James Toney. And that's all. That's the other big name he fought at 168. Mike McCollum was 175. Montel Griffin was 175. Virgil Hill was 175, right? And at 175, how could his run be better than Beterbiev when literally he's got 3 big names? Virgil Hill, who was coming off of a loss, Montel Griffin, and Mike McCollum, who was a career 160-pound fighter that you faced at 175. This is not criticism. It's just context, right? And Canelo is 100% clean. Wow, fuck. Why? Let's not talk about PEDs because they're all cheating. People that bring up that, they want to fucking avoid the reality to life. Beterbiev all day for me. Machado, most fighters in the 90s were on roids. Facts. Yeah, so I'm not hating on Roy Jones. I love Roy Jones. But Roy Jones' run at 175, I don't think is as good as Beterbiev. And as far as James Toney's run at 168, or even Roy Jones' run at 168, they're not as good as Canelo Alvarez. Sorry. I mean, you may hate Canelo, and that's fine. You can have an opinion. But if you just look at actually who won and what fights they had, it pretty much tells you everything you need to know. But that doesn't diminish either one of those fighters. I think obviously both of them are Hall of Famers. And actually, they are both on the Hall of Fame. So that tells you everything you need to know. When Roy failed for steroids in 2000, the guy he fought, Richard Hall, also failed for juice. The irony is that when people talk about all these guys today with PEDs, they fail to mention guys like Mike Tyson, Shane Mosley, Roy Jones, right? Showing you that all these dudes were fucking juicing, man. Juicing like crazy. Not even close, really. Roy beat some bums at 175. Obviously, his resume wouldn't be as good as Beterbiev at 175 because he didn't spend his entire career there. CJA. The point is, people say Roy Jones' resume, his legacy is better than Beterbiev if Beterbiev beats Bivol. We're arguing that it's not. And you say, oh, well, he's not a career 175-pound fighter. But his career wasn't fucking better than Canelo's at 168. Right? He had some good fights at 160, a couple good fights at 168, 3 good fights at 175. Actually, a good fight at heavyweight. But what he did was obviously historic, moved up to heavyweight, came down, had a good win against Tarver at 175, and then basically threw his career away by continuing to fight when he shouldn't have. Obviously, different times, most of the states didn't even have drug testing policies in place. Don't think I would have a winner top 5 at the time, 168, top 10. For sure, so many greats, Moore, Cincinnati Cobra, Billy Kidd, Rosenblum, Loughran, Spinks, Foster. Yeah, Foster and Spinks' resumes, not better than Beterbiev if he beats Bivol. Moore, obviously, you're going to have him number 1. Billy Conn, did he do that much at 175, or was it an accumulation of what he did from 160 to 175, right? Rosenblum, we're talking about different eras. If truth came to truth and Rosenblum and fucking Beterbiev fought, Beterbiev would knock Rosenblum out in fucking 2 rounds, maybe 1. The conversation is literally about who has the resume at 175 all time. Bivol, the favorite, minus 145. I thought he lost the first Tarver fight as well. A lot of people did, right? That's why there was a pressure for him to rematch. Beterbiev KOs Moore. Yes, I agree. But I mean, at least I got to give Archie Moore more credit because his resume is legendary, as well as his power and his toughness. Bet you didn't even watch that fight. Watch what fight? I got Bivol UD. How does a Beterbiev versus Bivol breakdown become a Canelo suck stream? I swear, these trolls are just ruining the stream. Well, it always comes back down to Canelo. Who's, J.A.? Yes, somebody makes a statement, but they don't give you contents. Who didn't watch what fight? Right? Let's get all the information. Yes, he didn't fight all his fights at 175. But yet, how many fights did he have at 175? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So he had 27 fights at light heavyweight. That's more fights than Beterbiev had in his career. Literally. Benavidez versus Morrell. Who you taking? Morrell. All day, every day. Of course I didn't. I was 2 years old when it was aired, dummy. What fight are we talking about? Who was 2 years old when what fight aired? No need to talk about Canelo during Bivol Beterbiev fight week. It's not me. It's not me. I'm just putting things in context because people love to make asinine statements to push hate and negativity, right? Nobody here is Tarver Jones won. Oh my God, come on. Saw all the fights. All of them. And if you didn't, you can go watch them on YouTube because they're fucking still there. So there's no reason for you not to catch up on fights that you historically wanted to watch. Like I said, I just watched 4 Beterbiev fights today. Let me think of this run of fights that I watched Roy Jones fight. Obviously, I watched him from the beginning of his career, but I know I didn't watch all these fights because a lot of these names look unrecognizable. And I know I didn't watch a lot of his later fights because those fights were just like watching Ali fight Trevor Berbick. Fucking a waste of time and terrible. Exactly, Sean. Laugh out loud. But what do you guys think? If Beterbiev stops Bivol to become the undisputed light heavyweight champion, where do you rank him on the all-time light heavyweight list? I always said that historically I felt the light heavyweight division was overrated. Michael Spinks, good fighter, but I never felt was that great of a fighter. Here you got right now they have Bivol already ranked above Spinks and Rosie Maxenbloom. Jack Delaney, I'm Canadian. I don't know who he is, but I know Billy Conn. Billy Conn was a great fighter, 63, 11, and 1. But when we look at him, we know Joe Louis knocked out, Tony Zale beat, 175. Henry Cooper, not the Henry Cooper I know, Joe Louis again, right? 2 big fights at heavyweight, lost both of them. Then we scroll through. And of course, I'm not a legendary historian of fights, but I just look at guys that maybe I'm very familiar with. And young Colbert III beat him, lost to him. Vince Dundee, is that Dundee's brother? Fritz Zivic. Right? Like, I mean, these guys fought the same fighters all the time because the pool of boxers just wasn't as deep as it is today. And you're losing the guys that were 1-6-2, 2-7-2, 6-0-4. And you can't tell me a guy named Teddy Mullen was a great fighter. Ended his career 13-6-3, right? When you're losing to dudes like that, there's no way I'm going to say you're better than fucking Beterbiev. No fucking way in hell. Never, ever. No chance. Joey Maxim, we know his biggest win was against Sugar Ray Robinson, right? In a hot outdoor arena when literally that guy fucking was dehydrated and he ended up beating him. Prior to that, he got beat by Ezzard Charles twice, right? Ezzard Charles, great fighter. 3 times. Fucking every time he fought Ezzard Charles, he lost. So how great was he when Ezzard Charles fucking beat his ass consistently? He beat a small fighter in a middleweight, got beat by Archie Moore, beat by Archie Moore, beat by Archie Moore, beat a young Floyd Patterson. That's pretty impressive. Is that the Floyd Patterson I thought? Floyd fighting at 168. Lost to Bobo Olsen. This dude lost to everybody. So there's no chance I'm going to fucking say that Joey Maxim is fucking higher ranked than fucking my man. Tommy Loughran, 90, 25, and 10. Losing, late in your career, that's not such a big deal. So I won't focus on that too much. But let's look at his prime. Who was he beating? Who was he losing to? I don't even know who he was fighting. Primo Carrera, that's impressive. Small guy fighting a fucking heavyweight that was giant. Ended up losing by unanimous decision. Beat Jack Sharkey. That's impressive victory. King Levinsky, impressive. Lost to dudes that I'm unfamiliar with, but that doesn't mean anything. Obviously, I'm not an encyclopedia of these old fighters. Ernie Schaff, Jim Braddock, right? This was a guy that Mickey Walker. Hey, I know him. Once again, you know, I don't think I could put him above Beterbiev either. Archie Moore, 186, 132 KOs. That shit, impressive. Lost to Ali when he was an old fucking man. Bum bum bum. We scroll through. We look at who he fought. Names that are familiar. As I said, I'm not a historian, so don't hate on me. Lost to Floyd Patterson in 5 rounds. Still, obviously, old in his career. You don't fight this much. Lost to Marciano. People said he was fucking 80 years old when he lost to Marciano. Beat Bobo Olsen, Nino Valdez, Harold Johnson. 3 very good wins right there. Beat Joey Maxim. Beat him again. Nino Valdez again. Maxim again. Harold Johnson. Harold Johnson beat him once. He beat Harold twice. Ginny Bivens beat him. Harold Johnson, Jimmy Bivens beat again. I won't go to page 2, but it is what it is. I mean, obviously, it's hard to compare different eras, right? It is what it is. Quality wins for me trump quantity. I saw more. I don't think I don't know. I think Beterbiev's better. Well, I'm pretty sure Beterbiev is better. But that's why I say it's hard to compare eras. What's your favorite Beterbiev performance, Sean? For me, it's either Yard or Marcus Brown. I think both of those fights showed great fucking mental toughness because Anthony Yard was fighting great, even though I do feel he was much more effective against Anthony Yard than he was against Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown, the southpaw, I think he was struggling with him quite a bit. And then obviously that cut. But once he got cut, I think then he just started to dominate the fight after that and obviously ended up stopping him. Deserves to be top 5, first 175 undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. Facts. Quality wins for me trump quantity. Sean, you picking Beterbiev by TKO? Yes. Fulton Figueroa rematch is reportedly now set for Davis Lamont Roach undercard. Yes, I've heard that. Even though, as we talked about earlier today on my live, it doesn't make fucking any sense at all. Why would you go fight this in-house PBC fight? That's why you're doing it. But the way the PBC has treated Fulton, the fact that he would rather take this fight for no title as opposed to fight Ball in the UK for fucking big money and a world title makes no sense at all. I just like making fun of done opinions like yours, most of yours. Some good fights being made lately. Any word on Spence Trainer? No. I'm curious to see now who long jab, break down the body. Ollie's dad was a painter and mother a fighter. You seen Bivol's ex-wife all over the internet bashing him? I do, but I don't pay attention to it because I don't care. Probably Ronnie Shields, maybe Robert Garcia. I say I don't know why you're gonna come on my channel and fucking use my name and my fucking image to troll me. Like, are you fucking retarded? You got nothing else to do but fucking troll people's channel? Like, why don't you get a life, man? Like, we're here talking boxing and you're acting like a fucking fool. I don't get these people, man. Fucking idiots. Bivol's ex-wife is Goofy 304. Sean, get a job and stop blaming others for your misery. Huh? Are you talking to the guy I just blocked or are you talking to me? What are you talking about, hard recoil? Sean Newton was blocked. That's not right in the head. But let's get back to the topic of boxing and not let troll fucking accounts bother us. It's unfortunate these people are out here doing this shit, right? Back in the day, these dudes used to always do that shit. It's like literally, what kind of scumbag literally fucking makes a troll account under somebody else? Someone really created a fake Sean Newton account. It's not the first time. There used to be fucking shitloads of them. And people would say fucking disrespectful, crazy shit. And then when I would jump on lives, people would be like fucking all over me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, if somebody says something radical, over the top, that doesn't sound like fucking people normally sound, you know it's a fucking fake channel. I've been saying the same stuff consistently for fucking over 10 years. I'm not going to come out with some radical, crazy bullshit, all of a sudden out of nowhere. Imitation is the highest form of flattery, I heard somewhere. Yes, I've heard that too. Darkness, what's up, my man? The imposter is JB or Dale Bailey. Well, hopefully Dale fucking, as a fucking 60-year-old, wouldn't be doing that shit. And I don't think JB would do it. I got more respect than JB than that. I'm talking to the troll that have too much time to waste. Okay. I don't even know what he said, but once I saw my name, I'm like, what the fuck, man? It was probably Dale Bailey's weird self. Well, I do notice Dale Bailey's not here, so it could be him. I don't know. I remember when you were a never Trumper a few years ago, and you seemed to come around a bit. It's not that I was never Trumper. You didn't see me fucking capping for fucking Obama or fucking Clinton's wife, right? You didn't see that. You didn't see me out here fucking going, oh yeah, Obama, Clinton's wife. Never did you hear me say that. I just fucking thought Trump's an asshole. Doesn't mean I don't think he could do a better job than them. I still think he is an asshole. Rich, entitled, prick, right? But at the same time, I appreciate the fact that he's a businessman. And to run a country, you need to fucking have a concept of how to run a business. Unlike fucking Obama, a career politician, Clinton, a fucking old hag, fucking the dumb cunt right now who no one even fucking gives a shit about, and then a fucking senile asshole that fucking was kowtowing to Obama to get his fucking attention. Hey, Sean, how you been, mate? What's up? I'm good. He's my asshole. He's my asshole. Like I say, I mean, I have never been anti-Trump and pro one of those other Democrats. I just put in context that me being Canadian, I've always been a liberal, right? But let's get off the politics. We're here to talk Beterbiev and Bivol. Gaza, who you got winning? You think Bivol is going to be able to control the distance and outbox the monster? Or do you think Beterbiev is going to get to him and break him down? No, you like Barack Obama's husband. No, I don't. Come on, Iceman. Don't be a troll. I don't care about any of that. Not interested, never was. I think the one that wins the fight will win. That's how I have my money on. Can you actually make money like that? Are there actually bets that you can bet on picking the winner to win? Because, that's a great fucking way to bet. You'd never lose. I don't know what the payout would be, but, I'm not much of a gambler myself. I work too hard for my money. I'd rather not lose it on gambling, especially knowing that some people are just get way too addicted to it. I don't mind throwing a couple dollars here or there just for fun, right? That's why when I was in high school, we used to always go to the track and bet on the horses. And why I buy lottery tickets, because it's not like you're losing anything. You lose what you know you can lose, and you don't care about. I worded it wrong. My bad. Meant as a question. I'm rooting for Bivol because Beterbiev will most likely retire and vacant the belts. Yeah, I can appreciate that. He's not going to retire. He said he's going to move to cruiserweight. I just heard that interview today. Beterbiev's knee will give him problems in the late rounds. Bivol by stoppage due to injury. Round 9, maybe 10. Really, Gaza? You think his knee is going to impact him? Okay. I mean, it's a possibility, right? When I talked about the fight earlier this week, obviously his age, his injury history, those are obviously things that you need to consider when you break this fight down. I also have to consider if Bivol actually is tough enough, resilient enough. I also thought Vostik back in the day, you know, wasn't tough mentally or physically, and that's why he folded to Beterbiev. But I just saw him fight David Benavidez, and that dude never looked like he was going anywhere in that fight. So then it made me question, oh, maybe it's just not that he wasn't tough. It's just that Beterbiev is so fucking destructive that he made him look weak, like a little girl. So that's why I question if Bivol is going to be able to contend with the ferocity, the nonstop aggression, and the power punching. I hope that I see Beterbiev sort of do what Marciano used to do. Hit that shoulder, hit those hips, and fucking break that dude down. Kind of like what Canelo Alvarez was trying to do to all those big dudes at 168. I hope that's what he implements and stops Bivol by 9th round TKO. I think Bivol has more pressure on him. He can't afford to mess up. With that said, Bivol by decision. Well, he definitely has more mistakes that could impact him, right? If he makes one mistake, like literally, I just watched the Anthony Yard fight. Anthony Yard was fighting good, but he did this one move where he leaned over and sort of threw a punch and off balance, and boom, that's it. That one punch, the fight was over, right? Beterbiev jumped on him, finished him, it was done. Against Callum Smith, it was similar. He hit Callum Smith with one right hand, and it was done. Callum Smith fucking was finished, and then he went in and just destroyed him, right? So it only takes Beterbiev literally one fucking opportunity to ruin your fucking plan. Dr. Wang says, hello, Mr. Sean Boxing. Is Larry Holmes an ATG? Of course he is. Never unified, robbed Norton, lost to Spinks twice. He was robbed in the Spinks fights because they didn't want a black man to break Marciano's record when he was still 36, which is still young at heavyweight, and beat a Parkinson's Ali. He did beat a Parkinson's Ali, but I don't think he really appreciated that. It wasn't so much that that's what he was trying to do. Norton, obviously a tough fighter, right? Norton was tough, man. The only guy that made Norton look easy was fucking Foreman. But I definitely think Larry Holmes was an ATG. Apparently, Bivol's ex messaged Beterbiev and told him Bivol's injuries. Well, she told everybody. She spread that shit all over the place. I was thinking the same, Drunk Irishman. It's better for boxing if Bivol wins. I don't know if it's better. I would love to see Beterbiev go up to cruiserweight and fight Jay Opataya, and then potentially fight Usyk. That shit is more legendary than anything Bivol would do. Dr. Wang gets this smoke. She's a terrible person. She is. Salute, Sean. Salute, fellas. Let's take a quick look since we're talking about all-time greats, Larry Holmes. We just jump in here at the heavyweight rankings and we can check it out for ourselves. Heavyweight, all-time great. Let's blow that shit up so we can all see. So, see, you look at the heavyweight rankings compared to light heavyweight. Fuck, man. It ain't even fucking... There's nowhere to move on the heavyweight list. You talk about Usyk and what Usyk would need to move into the top 10. It ain't easy, man. It ain't easy being sleazy, right? Right now, where do they have him? At 16, right? But let's look at Larry. Larry Holmes, 69-6. Fucking robbed in the fucking fights with Spinks. Plain robbery because they didn't want him to pass Marciano's record. blatant robberies, blatant robberies. But prior to that, Carl the Truth Williams, David Bay, two undefeated fighter, James Bonecuster Smith, Marvis Harris, nothing special. Scott Frank, nothing special. Tim Witherspoon, good win. That's four. Randall Cobb, tough guy. Jerry Cooney, good win. And that was the big race fight of fucking history. We all remember that. So far going back, that's five impressive victories he had on his resume. Ronaldo Snipes, tough guy, Ronaldo Snipes. I remember him. Leon Spinks, Trevor Burbick, Muhammad Ali. Sure, Ali was past his prime, so we don't really worry too much about that. Ernie Shavers, Mike Weaver. Is that the same Mike Weaver? Oh, fucking Ozzy Okasi. He went on to have a very good cruiserweight career. Ken Norton, Ernie Shavers again. You know, I find it hard to say that his resume is overrated. And then when we look at what he did at heavyweight, considering that, you know, people sort of figured he was retired, especially after he got knocked out by Mike Tyson, right? But then you go on and you beat guys, you know, Ray Mercer. Him beating Ray Mercer at that time of his career, that's a legendary victory. Mercer, undefeated, U.S. Olympian, 18-0, a monster. The same guy that went on and beat the fucking hell out of John Wayne's fucking nephew. Lost to Evander Holyfield, but that was a competitive fight, right? For unified heavyweight titles. Ended up going on, beating Jose Rebalta, good fighter. Jesse Ferguson, good fighter. Lost to Oliver McCall. He was fucking ancient at this time, right? Ancient when he fought these guys. So, yeah, I don't know how we could shit on fucking Larry Holmes' resume. Larry Holmes is definitely an ATG. But big Canelo fight, if Bivol wins, no Canelo fighting Beterbiev. Yeah, but in truth, is that really a fight any of us actually want? I mean, let's be fair. If I could have any fight for Bivol at 175, it would probably be the winner of Morrell versus Benavidez over Canelo Alvarez. I think that's a much more significant fight. He already beat Canelo, and I know he's going to beat him easier the second time around. But you go up to cruiserweight and beat a prime monster in Jay Obitaya. And then if Usyk does beat Fury and do what he said and come down to light cruiserweight to rematch the guy that beat you in the Olympics this many years later, after these legacies you've created, fuck, man, that shit's legendary. What a way to end a fucking career. Morrison was not bad either. Morrison was a good fighter. Great left hand, man. A guy that, you know, people talk about, oh, if he was white, imagine how popular he'd be. What do you mean? Morrison was white. Morrison was fucking related to John fucking Wayne. And he was white with fucking killer left hand. But he wasn't the most popular heavyweight American boxer at that time. Not even close. But he was white. So when people use that narrative, I'm always like, you guys are fucking idiots. Because we've had examples of American white heavyweights that had everything. Good looks, power, and fucking name recognition. And they weren't the hottest thing in boxing. So how does that fucking explain shit to you? I'm named after John Wayne. John Wayne. But do boxers listen to the fans? I think not. Well, obviously, historically, I don't know if they did so much. But today, social media, you see all those WNBA players, man, those girls all in their feelings constantly about being ridiculed and criticized as, you know, people that are being carried by Caitlin Clark. It's true. Everyone knows fucking Caitlin Clark is carrying the WNBA, but these women are so fucking insecure and so sensitive, they fucking react to everything, right? When no one paid attention to them, they were crying and moaning. Now that people fucking pay attention to them, they're crying and fucking moaning. I don't think the 25-pound jump to cruiserweight would do good to Bivol's body frame. Beterbiev, more capable of a cruiserweight. He got that Mike Tyson frame. Yeah, but that's who we're talking about. Beterbiev moving up to cruiserweight. I know that Turkey was talking about Bivol moving up, but I think Bivol should just stay where he is if he wins. Stay at light heavyweight. Why do I have a pretty clear memory of watching Holmes versus Spinks and thinking Holmes lost? but you say it was a robbery. That was my opinion. You know, I felt he won both fights, but was robbed. Uh, and, a lot of people felt so. Could you imagine the LDBC narrative today if that fight happened? You had the Clooney Holmes fight. Imagine how that would have been played out on the YTBC. It would be fucking ridiculous, like nothing we've ever seen before. And then to have Larry Holmes not pass Marciano's record because he got robbed fighting Michael Spinks, that shit would have been fucking, social media would have fucking lost it. That's why when I look at these guys, I laugh because they're so out of fucking reality to truth. Because this is shit that was happening in the past. Think about Aaron Pryor with his fucking special bottle beating Arguello. They're fucking moaning and groaning about fucking Ryan Garcia cheating. But then you got this kind of stuff going on blatantly, right? Like, man, see, that's the problem with new boxing fans. They just don't have any fucking historical context to the sport of boxing. So they're fucking way too sensitive, way too in their feelings. Johnny got his wife interview on his channel. Huh? Why do I have a pretty clear memory of watching? Oh, Johnny got his wife interview on his channel. Uh, Whatever. I don't care what she has to say. I'm not fucking interested at all. She's just a bitter wife trying to fucking scam more money off of her husband now that he's going to get more money in a big Beterbiev fight. She already got her share out of Canelo. I mean, I heard Holmes claim that after he lost, but my memory of that fight, me thinking he lost, I don't know. Maybe I have to rewatch it. We can rewatch it together. You think Holmes would have retired had he beat Spinks twice and beat Marciano's record? Maybe. Larry Holmes was definitely more intellectual than a lot of boxers, right? A guy that invested his money very well, right? And obviously did very well post fight. But, he had to come back for that Tyson money fight for sure. Marciano versus Joe Louis in the YTBC era would have been Fury versus Wilder on steroids. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Fucking the rapsing, the fucking gloves, the cheating, the reffing. Somebody put something in my water. Holy fuck. You could only imagine the narratives that would have been pushed. I think Timothy Bradley listens to Mad Chad. He said fighters today are sharp and soft, and Mad Chad says that all the time. Well, to be fair, that's nothing new, that expression. That's nothing new. People have been saying that expression for fucking decades now. Holmes seems like he couldn't hang him up. He did come back for Tyson and then kept coming back. I don't think he would have retired after Spinks wins, in my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. But, we can hope. But we also hope the same for Roy Jones. And he didn't do it either. So we definitely got to give it to fucking Andre Ward and Floyd. They walked away and refused to officially come back because they didn't want to ruin their legacies. Even though I don't know what legacy fucking Andre Ward has, but okay, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. But I think that's good. Thanks, everyone. Obviously, we're going to be around for this weekend. I'm off tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. And I'm definitely going to be around Monday and Tuesday for those 2 fight cards in Japan, which should happen post my work hours. So that's perfect. Perfecto. This is about the time where those fights will be finishing Monday and Tuesday. Imagine if Crawford used Aaron Pryor's mixed bottle for the Spinks fight. Imagine fucking a non-black fighter use that fucking Spinks, that Aaron Pryor bottle in a fight, right? Imagine Anui used that versus Fulton. Imagine Lomachenko used that for Gary Russell or Nicholas Walters, right? That's when you would see this kind of ridiculous fucking narrative just blow up through social media, because these dudes are nothing but trolls. I was just looking at Fan Boxing's channel, right? Actually, I'm going to watch a fight now. What fight was I going to watch? It's right here. I'm going to watch the Fabio Wardley versus Fraser Clark fight of the year, because obviously that's going to be coming up on an undercard fight soon. So I'm definitely going to watch that. But I was looking at Fan in Boxing's channel, and it's so ridiculous that him and fucking Knockout Boxing are almost identical. Like 98% of their videos are all fucking Javante Tank Davis videos, right? It's the same thing fucking they were doing when fucking Spence was king of the castle. And then 95% of their fight videos were fucking Errol Spence videos. These dudes, man, are ridiculous. The clickbait bullshit they consistently push. Crazy. Was that prior coach in a video clip saying, "Give me that special bottle"? Yes, exactly. That's exactly what he was saying. Panama Lewis, who then was suspended for boxing for illegally wrapping one of his fighters' hands, putting like the cement inside. Do you think Bivol can hurt Beterbiev? Because I think he can, and fans underestimate his power, like his punches are soft like Haney's. Mars, uh, the one I mixed. Yes, that's it. The one I mixed. Pass me that bottle, the one I mixed. Um, I think Bivol obviously can hurt Beterbiev, because any fighter, if he lands a crisp shot, especially a punch that somebody doesn't see, can definitely fucking hurt him. And we've seen him get hurt. We've seen him get dropped. So, yeah, that's it. Luis Resto versus Billy Collins. So, that shit fucking happens, man. But the question is, him hurting Beterbiev, is that going to be enough to stop Beterbiev from fucking continuing to onrush his ass for that whole fight? It's kind of like Michael's secret stuff for Space Jam. Oh, I forgot that. Michael's special stuff. That was horrible. But, that's the sport we love, boxing. But thanks everyone for jumping in. As I say, I will be around this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. I will be entertaining on Saturday, so I might not be around Saturday, but I definitely will be around Sunday. So see you then. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your week. See you soon.